morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Morning Show right here on the new Main Street TV. Jennifer here. Of course, we're so happy to have you with us. This morning, we have some special guests in the studio, so we'll get to them in just a moment. But before we do that, of course, as always, our good buddy Pete Wilson's here to do the morning news update. And Pete's morning news update always brought to you by Nia Henry, agent for Appalachia Realty. If you are looking to buy or sell or have any real estate needs, please give Nia a call at 740-418-4135, and she'll be out working hard for you. All right, Pete, it is a rainy day, but other than that, what kind of news do you have, big guy?
Okay, well, it is gloomy out there, but I've got some cheerful economic development news for you.
Oh, we like that.
For Jackson County, absolutely. This announcement came out yesterday.
Good.
From the Jobs Ohio folks. The Sunrush Water Company, which is a commercial water company that was formed back in 2006. Their home base is Pike County. In collaboration with Jobs Ohio and Ohio Southeast Ohio and the Jackson County Economic Development Partnership, has announced expansion plans for its Wellston operation. Now, the Wellston operation has not been there very long.
So say that's quick.
No, it's very quick. And their expansion will double the capacity there at their Wellston site for water treatment and processing. The company has had steady sales growth, and for its integrated water products, and it figures that it's ready to take the next step. They are investing $200,000 in new machinery and equipment that they believe will position the company for even more sales, and in the process, they're going to be adding 3 full-time employees. Jobs Ohio is involved. You know, they want to encourage things like this. That's the state economic development arm now. They are providing a $50,000 inclusion grant that will go towards the cost of the expansion. So very good news for an operation over there in Wellston. All right, another development lately on the county front, and this is good for emergency responders. At this past commissioners meeting, but at the commissioners meeting last week, the folks from the Jackson County Emergency Management Agency, namely Robert Cheslewski, the Emergency Management Agency director, was there, along with some of the emergency responder leaders from the local fire departments, the Wellston Fire Department and the Jackson Fire Department. They were there to officially inform the Jackson County Commissioners about the arrival of new emergency responder equipment. And they took a look at some of that equipment during the meeting. And we'll have a story about that hopefully in our Saturday paper that will show off some of that equipment. But one of the new vehicles is a Ford F-350 and a double-stack boat trailer that will be utilized by the Wellston Fire Department's Water Rescue Unit. And there you see the officials all standing around the new equipment, that boat trailer, very nice one. A lot of folks don't realize that the Wellston Fire Department has one of the very few water rescue units in the entire area. They go out to emergency events that are not just in Jackson County, but all over the region. It's a very, very important service that they have. And so here they were actually not only in Jackson at the commissioner's office, they also went up to one of the Wellston fire stations to show off the equipment that was parked up there. But anyway, this is a major advancement for equipment for the local fire departments in both Jackson and Wellston. Also, Robert pointed out during this meeting that the next big need now, that they have this big equipment because big and long, they need a place to put it. They don't want to keep it outside all the time. And so they are looking for funding to build a storage facility for the new equipment that is worth a total of $500,000.
Wow.
So, big development there. All right, on the COVID-19 front, today there will be a vaccination clinic for COVID-19 that Jackson County Health Department will be doing at the First Church of the Nazarene in Jackson. That's at 251 Powell Drive. The time's 10 a.m. to noon in the morning, 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. in the afternoon. Anybody who needs their second shot for the COVID-19 can go to this clinic. Also, people who have not had their first shot, they can also go. Remember, we heard from Jackson County Health Commissioner Kevin Aston that as of last week, only about 25% of Jackson Countyans had had their vaccinations. And so the push is on to convince some of those who have not had their vaccinations to do so. Of course, there are some folks who have decided not to get the shot. There are some who are still wondering about whether to get it. But a large segment of the population that hasn't had it are kids and young people who, I'm guessing, maybe some parents feel their children don't need it, and maybe some young people who maybe feel like they're invincible and they don't need the shot. So, the problem with that, according to the health experts, is, maybe you have a lower chance of getting COVID-19, or maybe you'll come through it a little bit better than somebody older, but you're still a carrier and you can spread it to other people. So we'll see what happens with that. All right, this Saturday up in Vinton County, we're moving very close to the Vinton County Wild Turkey Festival. It will be next week, May 6th through 9th on the downtown streets of MacArthur. This Saturday evening, they're going to have their Wild Turkey Festival Queens contest. There are 7 contestants, and we've got them up on the screen. If you're watching on TV or on your computer, you can see those girls there. Their names are Kylie Farrell, Lily J. John, Micah McFadden, Elizabeth Lambert, Courtney King, Lydia Nichols, and Lydia Leniger. So the way that they do the contest, Jennifer, is that the Queen and Court will be decided, but they won't announce it until the festival itself. It'll be Saturday night, their big night where they have their parade. After the parade, they'll have a major entertainment, but before the major entertainment, they'll announce the name of the Queen and crown the Queen, as well as 2 attendants. As far as the contest is concerned, the organizers say it will be normal, except for the fact that it will be limited capacity there at the Vinton County High School Media Center because, of course, of COVID-19. There will be a limit of 200 guests. I'm guessing that that's a 25% capacity standard at work there. So, one other announcement we want to make from the Oak Hill Board of Education is they have a Hall of Honor, just as they do here in Jackson, and Wellston has a Wall of Achievement. These honors are usually done at the end of the school year. It's through the school district or the Alumni Association, but they're community honors often. And they have picked the recipient in Oak Hill this year who will be honored at the Oak Hill High School graduation ceremony, and that is Marcia McCorkle. Marcia McCorkle, this year's honoree through the Hall of Honor in Oak Hill. And Oak Hill, a Hall of Honor inductee other year, and this is one of the years to do it. So she will be in the spotlight, just like the graduating seniors there will be on graduation night. All right, as we speak right now, Jackson High School play director Kathy Lord and her thespians are putting on their musical review. They're doing a practice show with the audience being their members of the high school senior class. And that's probably harder for the kids than it is through a adult audience, in front of their peers like that.
It would be.
But that's going on right now, and they hope that that will be a good practice run for their actual performances for the public, which will take place Friday evening, Saturday evening, and Sunday afternoon on the Jackson Middle School stage. And they're doing, instead of a strict musical play, they're doing what they call a musical review. That way they can do social distancing better as performers. They don't have to have a bunch of people together. They can arrange how people do songs. But it will be a lot of famous songs from famous plays throughout the years. And they have a pretty big cast as well. But the times will be 7 p.m. On Friday and Saturday evenings, and then 3 p.m. on Sunday. It'll all be, of course, at the Jackson Middle School auditorium. And I understand from Kathy Lord that, once again, even though there's limited capacity, they cannot fill that auditorium because of COVID-19, there are still a few tickets left for sale for all 3 performances. What they did was they set off a block of tickets for parents and other principal people who would need to be there or have the most reason to be there, and then they put the rest of the tickets on sale online. They went on sale online yesterday, and as of last night, there were still some tickets for all 3 performances. So just go to the Jackson City Schools website, and if you're interested, you'll see the link to maybe get play tickets. They're not going to do any tickets at the door, no tickets at the door, so if you want to go, definitely check out the online ticket buying option. Okay, this Saturday, there's going to be a lot of things going on. We've told you about some of them, but we want to remind you about something going on in Wellston. They're going to kick off for the third year, I think, their Wellston Community Garden Project. And that is a garden project where the community is involved. It's headed up by the Rotary Club and a special committee that gets that organized. And they invite the public to come out and be part of that. After the work in the community garden, I know the Rotarians are planning to spread out in Wellston and do some cleanup work there, kind of like a spring cleanup project that involves everybody. And they invite other members of the public and the community to take part in that. But one of the things they're going to do, in addition to do the work in the community garden and clean up in the community, is they're going to dedicate a peace pole at 1 o'clock. And I understand that there's going to be some Rotary officials from the district level that are going to be there to help them do that. And that peace pole is right there in Pride Park, right where the depot is and where the garden is. All right, this weekend we want to remind you about the Dinner in the Dust event at the Jackson County Fairgrounds. That is this Saturday evening at 6 p.m. That is a fundraiser to raise money for projects at the fairgrounds. The general public is welcome to attend. If you want to order tickets, contact Angie Eisnagel at 740-418-5017. The tickets are $35 each. You're going to get a great meal, and on top of that, you're going to get entertainment provided by local singer Dan McCarty. I think Dan's going to make a performance at Stockroom 601 coming up very soon as well. Very popular local entertainer. All right, and then the Jackson Firefighters Association, in addition to fighting fires, they spearhead the fundraising campaign for fireworks here in Jackson. And they are going to have a fundraiser on May the 5th. That's a Wednesday, and it will be on the Sherwood Folks Insurance Agency parking lot. That's at 738 East Main Street. And they're going to have the Kona Ice folks there to sell their shaved ice. That's very popular. A portion of the proceeds will go to support the fireworks fund. All right, last night, Jennifer, down at Howler Field, the Jackson Ironmen won another big game. They defeated the Hillsboro Indians 7-3. Hillsboro was one of the top teams in the Frontier Athletic Conference. Jackson, with that victory, now is 14-2, one of the best seasons they've had in a long time. They are sharing first place with the Miami Trace Panthers with 2 conference games to go. And Jackson will be back in action on Friday at home against Chillicothe. We will be bringing that game on the radio, Fox Sports 1330 AM and 105.3 FM. Other scores from last night: Waverly defeated Oak Hill in baseball 2-1. Wellston over Nelsonville York 10-6. That's a baseball score. And Benton County over Alexander 5-1 in baseball and softball. Hillsboro over Jackson 11-4. Waverly over Oak Hill 10-1. Wellston over Nelsonville York 5-2 in 9 innings, and Benton County over Alexander 19-4. The Wellston girls softball team, by the way, is tied for first place in the Tri-Valley Conference. All right, well, I'm going to scoot downstairs. I think I'm even going to go over and see the musical review and take some pictures over there. So I am excited to see that. And I know you have some very important guests here to talk about a very important issue and need here in Jackson County. So I'll get out of the way.
Well, thanks, Pete. You're never in our way.
All right.
We love seeing you every day. All right, and of course, Pete's Morning News Update brought to you by Nia Henry, agent for Appalachia Realty. If you're looking to buy or sell or have any real estate needs, please give Nia a call at 740-418-4135, and she'll be out working hard for you. All right, and we do have some special guests here in the studio today. We're going to talk about all things senior citizens, and we're super excited about that. Have a couple of guests here, but before we get to that, let's get to your Zip Printing weather forecast, where you can visit yourtotalmedia.shop, or you can also visit zipprinting.carlsoncraft.com and check out all of the items that are available to commemorate your graduate, whether it be yard signs or also graduation announcements, napkins, t-shirts, anything that you can think of. Please visit yourtotalmedia.shop for that. All right, let's head on over to the weather forecast, and the weather word is wet. Lots of W's in the forecast today. Cloudy with heavy showers today, as you can see outside if you look out the weather window. Highs around 72 degrees. That chance of rain today is at 100%. For tonight, about a 90% chance of rain overnight, mostly cloudy, showers likely, lows dipping down to around 49 degrees. And tomorrow on Friday, choking to death, mostly sunny skies with highs around 64. Excuse me. And with those clear skies also come colder overnight temperatures with lows around 36 overnight Friday night, but that rain does move out. Looking on to your weekend, absolutely gorgeous with highs near 70 on Saturday, highs near 80 thus far on Sunday, and no rain. We don't get weekends like that very often. All right, well, let's head on over to our guests, and in the studio today, we'll let them introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Bill Martin. I'm on the board of the Senior Citizens Organization here in the community, and most of the talking today is going to be done by Lissa Warrens, our activity director and project director for our proposed new Senior Citizen Center. Lissa?
Good morning. Just wanted to give you a little bit of information about our center and what we do there. We provide home delivered meals, and that consists of 593 hot meals a week and 263 frozen, with a total of 856 meals for senior citizens a week. So we travel a lot of miles. We're out in every township in Jackson County. Well, when we are besides dealing Jack Hill and average of Jackson a month, 230 in Wellston, and around 160 in Oak Hill monthly for our seniors who come in. Also, for our home delivered meals, we have 4 vehicles, and this past year we have had been very blessed. Even with everything that's been going on, we were able to purchase 4 new vehicles for our home delivered meal program, which was needed. The newest van we had on the road at that point in time was a 2009, so there was a lot of miles on those, and this way we have better way to keep our food warm and cold in these new vehicles, so we've been very blessed there. And we also do transportation. We have 487 unduplicated clients in Jackson County we transport, and we take our clients to places like Columbus, Cincinnati, to the veterans hospitals, to Galplis, and even for shopping, picking up prescriptions, also for hair appointments, anything that they need to keep them happy and occupied and to make their life better for them. So we do that, and we average around 10,000 to 9,000 miles on vehicles a month for transportation. And we have 9 vans on the road. 6 of those we purchased through the ODOT program, which that only costs the senior citizens of Jackson County 20% of that vehicle. So we have been very blessed with that. And we have been in our current building at the Jackson Center since 82. Since 88. And we, the old Mound Street School was actually the original part of that building was built in 1900. It was added on in 1907. And then the final front part was added in 1937. So we have, we've done some improvements to it, but it is an older school, so we are trying to improve that. So maybe Bill would like to add some more to that.
Thank you, Lissa. Point out that we're a nonprofit corporation. However, we work with, in hand in glove with the county to provide services for seniors, which Lissa has just pointed out. We have a board consists of many members. Mayor Charlie Hudson, for example, is on our board. We've recently decided that the most important thing we can do for our seniors at the moment is basically to build a new center. So we've made plans for a new senior citizen center, and I'll talk about that for a little bit if you like. It's going to be located across the AC Drive from the Red Roof Inn in Jackson. Everybody knows where Red Roof Inn is, I think. You drive up there and across the street from Red Roof Inn, and then 200 feet back from the road, there's a lot there for 5 acres. And if you you can look up at the city of Jackson and around the surrounding hillsides. A pretty location. We took about 2 years to get that location. We were looking at every place that was available in the county. We were looking in the Oak Hill area. We were looking in the Wellston area, Jackson, in the townships. And this was the best lot we could find. We weren't able to afford, frankly, getting on AC Drive itself, so we got set back 200 feet and got the 5 acres there. But I think that that's going to be an advantage, because once the building is built, there's going to be some nice windows looking out over the community, over Jackson and the beautiful Jackson County countryside. So that's kind of our core idea. And in order to do this, the first decision we made as a board was that we wanted to proceed by a so-called design-build process. I didn't know very much about it at the beginning, but we learned about it. Design-build basically is a company, managing company, both designs the building that you're going to get and then manages the construction of it. In our case, we had a competition to see who would be our company to be the design builder. And a company called Granger, which works out of Michigan and Columbus, won that competition. Basically a series of interviews taking a whole day. And they're familiar with the community. They're building a jail in Gallia County, for example. So they're well experienced here in Southern Ohio and want to do work down here. Before we signed them up as our design builder, however, we sat them down and asked them, are you willing to undertake construction with local contractors to do the actual building and give them a good chance to get contract work on this project? And they said, of course, what we do is the management part. So, I think less than 10% of the project money would go to the Granger Management Company, and the rest, hopefully, to local builders who will have an opportunity to participate. So this we thought to be a positive thing, not only for the senior citizens, but also for our community to have a project like this. So the first thing that Granger did was do the design, and we wanted to suit the building to what we do. So the first thing they did, it took hours, several hours of meeting, 8 or 9 hours, we sat there and they said, now what do you actually do? Well, we have 3 businesses. We have a meals business where we prepare meals and take them out to seniors, especially seniors that can't otherwise travel. As we know in Jackson County, especially for folks that don't have a lot of money, travel is a serious problem for folks. We're in the meals business. We're also in the transportation business. So we hope to bring a lot of our seniors periodically to our center for social activities. When the center reopens, especially in the new building, when it opens, we're going to have congregate meals. That's the buzz term for come in and eat, dine, and it'll be a nice experience there. So that was our concept. We have 3 businesses. We have meals. We're going to have a commercial kitchen for that, very expensive commercial kitchen, and we're going to have a facility for our transportation. And then we have these in-house activities for our seniors, social activities. I think chair volleyball is popular with folks. And we have these activities in 3 locations in the county. We have a center in Jackson, as Lissa pointed out, an old facility, a falling apart facility that has to be replaced. And we have senior citizen centers in Wellston and a senior citizen center in Oak Hill. Now, there's been some rumors, we understand, that the facilities or the centers in Oak Hill or Wellston might be closed because we're going to have this big fancy new place in Jackson. Not so. We're going to keep the Wellston Center open, and we're going to keep the Oak Hill Center open. That's our commitment to those folks and those communities, and that's the way it's going to be. You can check that for sure because there is a tax levy that's on the ballot this year, and the language of that tax levy does specify that this is for not only the new Jackson Senior Citizen Center, but also for the Wellston Center, and also the Oak Hill Center will be improving all these buildings. And our idea is that we'll have a basic facility, but nice for people to come to, and space for lots of things to be done. So after they did that, then Granger Company came back with a series of concept designs. Now their contract was in 3 phases. The first phase was concept design, and what that means is a series of detailed drawings that give us an idea of what the place is going to look like, what its facilities are going to be, how many toilets, where the toilets are going to be, and all that jazz. And after that, there would be setting up the actual specs for contractors, and then after that is the actual building and managing the construction of the site. So we're at the concept phase, so that we have a bunch of concept drawings, highly detailed, but not specs for contractors. And we've already paid for that, so we have that in hand. When the first draft came back, it was way too expensive, more than we thought we wanted to handle. Especially, I remember Mayor Hudson out of Wellston was just carrying on about that. So we sent Granger back for a redo. And among other things, they replaced some of the steel supports with concrete supports, saving money. They cut back the square footage of the common area ballrooms. They took out one of the 2 partitions that was going to be in the ballroom. They took out the stage. So when it all came down to it, the estimate was, and this is a big number, but it's these things cost a lot, was about $3.6 million. And that's how we're going to proceed to raise funds one way and another. We're going to have we are in the middle of a tax levy. We're going to have capital campaign, knocking on folks' doors that have a little money in their pockets, asking for a donation. We're confident that the folks in town will be generous to the Senior Citizens Project. They always have been. And of course, we hope to have some kind of financing. The best financing to have is with the Department of Agriculture, and it's possible, and our president, Jane Leach, has been working on this, to get a 40-year loan for the amount of the project at very low interest and pay back over 40 years. Now, I think everybody knows that in the present climate, there's going to be some money coming down the pipeline, and we hope that some of that can be diverted for the purpose of senior citizens. It's a little bit hard because the Senior Citizens Organization is a nonprofit private corporation in partnership with the public. So we're going to have a public partner. We kind of hope the Jackson County Commissioners to assist us with this Department of Agriculture loan if we can get it. If we can't get it, if it doesn't work out, we'll think up something else. So that's kind of how, from a board perspective, how we got Granger, how we got the designs, how we figured out where we're going to be, how much it's going to cost, what we hope the center is going to do. And Lissa, you've probably been sitting over there with a few comments you'd like to add to our project.
Yes. As Bill mentioned, they did look through all the county for another building that possibly could be renovated and other property. And for 2 years, this has been the best piece of property they could find. There was no building that was actually going to accommodate what we needed that wouldn't be just as expensive as what this new building would be to build. And so the board has been really active in trying to do what they can to make this at the cheapest cost as possible, but also provide the seniors of the county with a place to come to have some activities together for Jackson, Wellston, Oak Hill, so they can all come together unified. And we can have an evening, maybe we can bring bands in, they can dance. We have a lot of line dancers. We want to provide play chair volleyball with all 3 sites together. We want to bring everyone together. They love to play, just regular bingo, so we can have some fun and enjoy this time of our lives that we should be. And that's what we want to do. We want to make this place a home for them away from home. And we are doing our best to reach out to the community. We are already looking at lists, as Bill said, to go to corporations to help sponsor this center. And we have already reached out to a couple, and we hope that we're blessed enough to be able to receive some of the fundings from some of the other businesses also. We know there's a lot of people out there with concerns about about the other centers, and we want to reassure that we are going to do even more improvements on the Wellston Center and the Oak Hill Center to make those a really nice facility for the Wellston and Oak Hill people also who come in and enjoy those facilities. So we just want to reassure everyone of that. And to let you know, we are here. If there's anything you need, please call the center. We'll try to help. The phone number there is 740-286-2909. And another thing we'd like to add, Bill mentioned something about our services we offer now, the 3. What we would like to do if we get into the new center is go back to having home health aides. We have a lot of calls for that daily because where we provide services through Passport already, that the people who rely on us for their meals and their transportation through those programs really trust our organization, and they would like to have all their services through us. So we are looking into that. Now, we'll be adding jobs to our center. So that's one plus about the new building, if we are able to have blessed enough to receive the property and the building down the road.
I might add one wrinkle that we're tossing into our little mix here is we asked Granger to do an alternative A, we call it, and that is qualifying this building for emergency services. Here's what I'm talking about. We all remember several winters ago, we had high snow, and the only folks out on the road was a Jackson County Sheriff, and they would go out and get shut-ins, for example, or elderly folks that don't have, as we say, transportation, and bring them to locations in town for emergency place to stay during the weather emergency. And it's possible that our location, a new center, would be a good place for emergency shelter. After all, we already have, we're going to be having a food facility there, a dining area. We're going to have a large area where people could, frankly, bunk down. In order to do that, you have to enhance the design. That's the alternative part. For example, in order to qualify for state regulations, you have to have some of your toilets have to have showers, of course. The place where people are going to actually bunk down has to have enhanced walls for fire protection. There has to be a standalone generator, which makes sense if you're having an emergency shelter. So whether we do that or not may depend in part upon how the emergency folks in Jackson County want to participate in the project. But we'll have that designed, and we hope to have it designed in 4 to 6 weeks, so we can perhaps come to the commissioners and say, this is an enhancement we can do to our building if you folks are interested. So that's an alternative we've been thinking about and been talking already a little bit about to the public officials. So that's kind of an aspect of our project. Jennifer, you got any questions back there? You've probably been thinking up a few.
I do. So back to Lissa, what are some of the things that the senior citizens do as a facility? I know it's an old facility here in Jackson, but as a facility or with help that some of our senior friends or our viewers today might not know that you all offer?
For activities, for example, the Jackson Center, they have an art class. And many of you have probably been there during the pancake supper. They auction off a lot of their art items to raise money to fund their art class. And not only does it fund the Jackson art class, it also funds the Oak Hill art class. They also have one. They do some quilting in Wellston and Oak Hill. They play chair volleyball in Wellston and Jackson. We hope to get Oak Hill involved in that a little more when we open back up. We have an attorney come down for our senior citizens when they need some advice. They come down on every other Tuesday when we're open and give some legal aid for them. We also have health fairs at all 3 sites. Facilities will come in and check the sugar, their blood pressure, and we try to keep those going for people who, some clients we find are a little more trusting when they're in our center than they are when they go to the doctor. So that's what we want to keep that. The meals, we hope with the new center that we're going to change the lunch at the Jackson Center a little bit. We're going to extend the hours so that maybe some more of the community can come in. It's going to be more like a cafeteria line that you can go through and have some choices, possibly something different. Because we really do have some really good food, and it's done by a nutritionist through area agency. All of our meals are, so we have some good cooks and bakers. And we also have within our facilities each one has some meetings once a month. They have a senior citizens club. They have a meeting at each of our facilities, so we allow them to do that. So they have some more. They do a carry-in. They do some games. So that's also another little thing we have for them. And we really want to even do more when we open up. We want to provide more activities. We want to bring in some kind of exercises for seniors to provide this for them. Open the facility up if they want to come and walk around when it's raining, and instead of having to go, like I know a lot of people will go to Walmart and walk, or we want to open our facility up for them to do that there. Make this a fun environment to sit and play cards. If they want to come in and play cards, we want to offer that. And maybe a little coffee shop right there. They can have some coffee and cookies and donuts when they're doing that. That's what we plan to do anyway, Jennifer.
I might add, Jennifer,
Sure.
I'm anticipating that lots of folks out there are saying, well, that's very good, but you guys are shut down for the time being. Yes, we are shut down. We're shut down because of COVID. And every board meeting, every month, we have a pretty intense discussion about when are we going to reopen the facilities that we do have available to the seniors, and under what circumstances would we reopen. And it's a very difficult question, and we kind of labor over that every month. We've pretty much decided that the guiding principle is going to be safety for our seniors. The absolute last thing we want to do is reopen a senior facility, have folks come in and get sick. We just can't. We can't countenance that. So we're going to have to be very careful about reopening. I know that may be an answer some folks might be a little frustrating, but nevertheless, from our perspective, that's the decision we have to make. So yes, our facilities for inside dining and so on are shut down at the moment, and we're paying attention to when we can safely reopen.
Yeah, and that was actually going to be my next question. Was how has COVID, as we're a year into this now, how has it affected your seniors and the senior centers? And it's a catch-22 because, just in my opinion, as you all are there to provide food and to provide companionship and all of that, and the very thing that the senior center is supposed to be, it can't be right now. And how have you all worked around that so that our seniors are still checked on and whatever during a global pandemic, and to keep them safe?
Yeah, I think Lissa can probably speak to some of the procedures, for example, that our vehicle drivers use. Lissa?
Yeah. We, when this all hit last year, we were trying to think, what can we do? So we added more of the clients who came in. We added a lot of those clients onto our home delivered meal route. So they are still receiving that hot meal, and they're getting to see someone else besides themselves in the mirror. So we tried to do that, and unfortunately we can't go into the homes, but we do deliver the meal, we set it, and we step back, and the client can come out the door, and at least they can have a little one-on-one when they're picking their meal up. But we're trying to keep them safe. We also offer Monday through Thursday, like a pickup meal that you can drive to the Jackson Center and drive around back, and you get a hot meal. It's the same meal we serve every day, and we have around 20 to 25, and some days over 30. Especially when we have chili or beans and cornbread, that's their favorite meal. So we offer that, and they still get out of the house and they talk. Some of our seniors will come and pick up their meal, and now there's a little park over by the center. They will go over and sit under the shelter house there and visit with each other. I mean, that's their choice because it is a community place. And we also still provide transportation. We're making sure we get our clients, if they need to go to the grocery store, we're still making sure they get to go there. But we also have to keep them safe on the vans. Also, still social distancing and requiring masks. But we are definitely trying to meet all those needs that when they want to go shopping, they have someone to take them. And during this pandemic, we have also purchased some shelf-stable meals that we can put meals together and boxes of food together to take to our seniors who are still kind of concerned about going out into the public. And we've been doing that since this hit too. And actually, our dining room right now, where everyone you always came in to eat, kind of looks like a storeroom because of that. We want to make sure we have plenty. And not only that, some of the seniors will call us and say, I have a neighbor who is in need, and she is 60, but she doesn't want the meals, but she doesn't have no food in her house. So we also will just box that up and send one of our drivers to deliver that to them also. We're just trying to meet the need of our seniors and still let them know we're there for them. We try to call them, just check on them, and the ones we haven't seen or heard from, we definitely make calls and make some contact.
I remember Pete Wilson, just prior to our being here, in his news today, commented on the COVID clinics that the health department is conducting, so that for those who choose to get vaccinated, be sure you get vaccinated with the county health folks, if nobody else. And if you're not sure whether you want to be vaccinated, go in there and talk to them and get the facts on the matter. And we think that's important, and that's probably the key to getting this thing turned around locally. It's starting to turn around nationally, as we know from our news. So Jackson County has to come along as well.
Yeah, and that's very fair. And I had to drive to Columbus yesterday, and I passed a Jackson County Senior Citizens van about Scioto Downs, and I thought, wow, what a cool offering. And none of that is free, right? So, to be honest, there is a levy coming up, and this is neither to endorse or deny the levy, but could you all tell everyone when the special election is? Because I think a lot of our viewers may or may not know that there's even a senior citizens levy, as it's pretty much the only thing to vote on.
Yeah, the election is May the 4th,
Okay.
and the polls are open now. You can go into the Board of Election now and vote if you'd like, or wait till May the 4th for that.
All right, and again, please understand that we're not saying vote for or against the levy. We're just giving you the facts.
I think another fact we can point out is
Sure.
that there is early voting, and
There
there'll
is
be
early
early voting over the weekend, and that's just walking into the Board of Elections and getting the ballot and ticking it.
With this, early voting started several years ago now, but with the COVID thing going on, boy, has it become very, very popular, and it's also become very convenient for folks. You don't feel as if maybe you have to go stand in line at your polling place or whatever. So you do have the opportunity to go in and vote early before that May 4th election, or you can choose to go to your polling place on May 4th, and you can do that as well. Are there any services with the new facility, this is just something that popped into my head, that you all would be able to add or expound upon that you cannot do with the limitations of the current yucky building?
Yes, we are looking to start, like I mentioned, a home health aid program, a homemaker. That's one thing that we are planning to expand. We are hoping to expand on meals, because right now our kitchen that we have now, I believe there should be an article coming out in the paper with pictures of our kitchen so you can see it. The gentleman came over yesterday and took some photos of it. that the size of our kitchen now is really only set up to produce around 300 meals a week, and we produce over 800. That is going to allow us to be able to produce more meals, more frozen meals. We produce every frozen meal that we serve our clients. We make it in-house, because we did reach out to other companies who make frozen meals, but they weren't to the nutrition value that is required by our area agency dietitian. So we went back to producing our own, so they receive nutritious meals, and we hope to expand on that. Because right now we have coolers, freezers plugged in our dining room, onto our kitchen, into our kitchen's office. And by that, we are at our maximum capacity to be able to plug anything else into our electric in this building that we're in. And by having a walk-in cooler and a walk-in freezer, not only does that allow us to be able to prepare more frozen meals and have them done, this will also allow us to buy food more by bulk and to be able to save more money. Anybody who has purchased food, you know that sometimes if you can go buy 200 pounds of beef, it's cheaper than buying 100 pound at the end of it. So that's what we are looking to do. Once we have that freezer, we can start saving money that way and be able to produce more meals by buying bulk and having a place to store it.
Yeah, I think a lot of it, Jennifer, is going to be the scale of the operations we'll be able to do in the new building. Instead of being crammed into a crumbling Mound Street school, every room in the new premises will be specially built for our purpose, because we planned it ahead of time that way. Also, there'll just be more space, more room for more people. And we think it'll be a nice but pleasant but basic place for folks to come and enjoy themselves. And we would anticipate a much larger scale of operations in-house there.
All right, and all that sounds fantastic. What would you say to the folks that are a bit skeptical out there of this Jackson facility getting this new shiny, beautiful new facility, and the folks and maybe the rest of the county? Will they be able to use the facility? Is it or is it just folks in Jackson? I've heard that question asked. You addressed it a little bit earlier, but I just want to reiterate that.
Not only will they be able to use it, but we'll provide transportation to help that happen. Yes. I think the folks out in the Wellston area and Oak Hill area, it's most important for them to know that their local centers will remain open and will remain functioning, but we'll have some special things in Jackson, as you would expect, because it's, as you said, shiny new building.
And we also are going to do improvements on the Wellston and Oak Hill building also. There's a lot of improvements that Wellston would like to see, and we want to provide that a much nicer and better facility for the Wellston people. In the same way with Oak Hill, we have a list of items that we want to do to the Oak Hill Center that will make that also a more pleasant and a better facility for the people of Oak Hill. We can't wait to have a bigger facility so we can bring everyone together. Usually when we do that, we have to go outside of all three centers. We usually go to Cantor's Caves because it's big enough to house everybody who would come in. And that's usually around 200 to 300 people we have in these dinners, like our Senior Citizens Day, our Thanksgiving dinner, our Christmas dinners. And we want to be able to do this more than just 3 times a year. With having this new facility, we can bring them in. I would love to see it once a month, everyone together for a big dinner. And they enjoy seeing each other. Sometimes that's the only time they see some of the other people is during Senior Citizens Day, Christmas, and Thanksgiving. So we want to provide that and make this a much better and funner center than what we've had.
And back to some of the things that you talked about, Bill, and that is the emergency management facility. And I had heard that a while back, and I thought, man, oh man, what a fantastic use of a large building. This is just in my opinion, but in a centralized location, easy access, and with it being a senior citizens center, obviously very handicap accessible, very easy to get in and out of, lots of parking. So I really like that thought of having the backup generator. And while we're building this beautiful new facility for our seniors, why not let the rest of the public benefit from it as well?
It's a great idea. I'm sold on it. I was sold
Yeah.
on it from the get-go. But
Yeah, sure.
it's a matter of expense. We sit around the table and it was, well, how much is it going to cost? It's going to cost a lot of money to add Alternative A, we call it, onto the Senior Citizen Center. But what we're going to do is, especially if, frankly, we're successful with our tax levy, we'll be in a position where we could say a lot of things. And one of the things we're going to be saying is let's take a serious look at Alternative A, and let's get some an alternative emergency place for folks to be, and that'll be a positive help for everybody.
Absolutely, and at that point, we've had. Let's just be honest. We've had some weird weather emergencies around here recently, and one of the worst that we've had was in the middle of the summer. If you all remember, several years ago, over the 4th of July weekend, when we had that horrific rainstorm and knocked people out of power for a week and a half, and 2 weeks, some folks, and if we have a facility like that where people can at least go and get out of the elements for a minute, it seems to me like that's a no-brainer. All right, I'm going to throw this out here to you. What happens if the senior citizens levy does not pass? And again, please understand we're not endorsing or denying the levy. I'm asking questions.
I probably undoubtedly have a closet with the commissioners and say, now can we get this Department of Agriculture loan or not? And if we can't get either a levy or the Department of Agriculture loan, then I think we're in a bit of a tough spot.
Yeah.
We might have to put the thing on hold for another year or something like that. Yeah, it's possible. You go into these things knowing you could get a negative result, and you do the best you can if you find yourself in that position. But everything we've heard so far is positive. Jackson County has always supported their seniors, and we are confident that they'll continue to do so. After all, most of us are going to get a little older. So that's the way it goes.
And Jennifer, we also know that we're going to do a campaign drive too. I am to go out and try to push for other funding from other sources throughout inside our county, outside our county. We're reaching out and to try to get some capital funds. That way, make donors. We want to recognize those donors. We have already, me and another lady on the board has been working, trying to figure out how we can show the people who do donate how they're going to be recognized. We want the people of the community to know that they have donated, and this is how much they donated and how much it helped us. So we are really pushing for that also. It's not just we're going to just rely on the levy to pass, but we also are working hard to raise other funds to help pay for this building.
Yeah, I think that's fair and important for people to know that this is not just on the shoulders of the voters, but you all are out working all the time, trying to raise funds for our seniors and do the things for them that they deserve. So understand that this isn't just a tax levy and that's it.
Well, if we look at the numbers, Jennifer, that becomes somewhat clearer. Our estimate was, 3.6 million. This tax levy is only going to last 5 years. The rate is very modest. I think most taxpayers, if they look at the estimates, in fact, you may have something about how much it would cost. That's just a fact. I don't think it's any kind of an argument. It's a modest tax increase. In the last 5 years, it'll raise about 1.6 million. So of course we're going to have to go to other sources. Our thought was this tax levy is very important. We're not going to say it isn't very important. It is very important, a part of our overall financing picture. Lissa, do you have some of those numbers, just what your fact sheet says there?
Yes. For if you own your land is valued at $100,000, it's $1,750 a year. If it's valued at $150,000,
is that $17.50?
Yeah, $17.50 a year. And if your land is valued at $150,000, it's only $26.25. And if it's valued at $200,000, that's only $35 a year. So those are very low for what this is going to provide for the seniors. Not only will it provide it for maybe your mom, your dad, your grandma or grandpa, but one day possibly services that you may need too.
That's right. None of us are getting any younger. That's the one thing that we all know.
Well, thanks, Jennifer.
Some of us just get there faster than others. We love you, Bill. All right. Well, we are coming up on time, and this has been very, very informative. And I think that a lot of folks may or may not know some of the services that the senior citizens provide. And you all, as many other people have had to do, you've had to pivot 100,000 times this year to try to figure out how to do these services safely. And so we commend you on that. Is there anything else that you would like our viewers to know before we let you all get out of here for the day?
I think you've had a very thorough interview, Jennifer. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we want to let any of the senior citizens out there who do not receive our services and who may need some of our services, please feel free to call the center at, once again, I'll give the number at 740-286-2909, and we will try our best to help you with any of the needs you have.
That's right, and you can see that number right up there on your screen right now. Again, 740-286-2909. And, listen, you don't get the sale unless you ask. So if you need some help, ask for it. That's what they're there for. All right, thank you all so much for coming in. It's been wonderful talking with you.
Well, thank you.
Of course. All right, let's thank some of our friends that make this show possible before we get out of here for the day. Did want to thank our friends at Callahan Hardware, your everything store, right here in Jackson on Veterans Drive. You know what we haven't talked about in a really long time? Callahan flooring. And if you are in need of carpet, tile, vinyl flooring, they have so many options now. This vinyl, the LVP, yeah, laminate vinyl plank, LVP. Got to remember all of those. That flooring is amazing. It's what's in the restaurant. Listen, if you have to think about the amount of traffic that Archinetti's gets on a daily basis, and our floor has been there for 8 years and still looks exactly like it was when we installed it, that's a pretty darn good endorsement for that type of flooring. So don't forget Callahan Flooring. You give Trudy a call out there. She'll come out. She'll do estimates. She'll give you pointers on maybe the best flooring for you, and she'll be right there for you. Also want to thank our friends at the shop, Chip and Kathy Smalley. And if you do have an event coming up, custom engraving, if you need trophies, plaques, anything of that nature, let them make those for you. 988-2841 is their phone number. Also, stop out and see our friend Mark Carmen at Carmen's Used Cars, or visit their website. You know what? It's raining today. If you want to do some car shopping, you don't even have to leave your house. It's so cool. Visit their website at carmensusedcars.com, and you can check out all of the vehicles that they have on the lot, over 70 all the time. And Carmen's always out buying new stuff and shopping. He almost brought himself home a Ferrari the other day, but he didn't, he said. Okay, I know that would be a sure divorce between Sandy and Mark if that happened. He gets himself in all kind of trouble bringing vehicles home. The Ferrari might have done it in. And also did want to thank our friends at the filling station. Stopped by a quick stop yesterday, filled up on gas as I was running out of town. So easy to get in and out of. Don't forget that crispy, crunchy chicken. It is delicious. So stop in at the Quick Stop, and it's newly remodeled right here in Jackson, so you have to check that out as well. Probably with some of that LVP flooring, LPV flooring, whatever it is. So anyway. All right, James, anything?
I think you said it all.
Are you trying to say I'm full of it?
Oh, yeah, you and Pete both.
Okay, very good. All right, once again, thanks to our friends Bill Martin and Lissa Warrens for coming in today, filling us in on the Senior Citizens Center and all of the services that they provide. It's very, very important, so for us to know. All right, have a great day, everyone. It will be raining all day today, so don't forget about that. Don't forget your umbrella, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow with our friends from the Wild Turkey Festival. So we look forward to that. Till then, have a great day, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye, everyone.